The young man had clearly drawn the village's most barren plot of land. His friend was willing to trade him the most fertile plot plus $50,000 in cash. It was only because the friend knew that, although the young man's plot looked barren, it actually contained a treasure worth $1 million US. He was certain the unsuspecting young man would agree to the swap, but the young man refused on the spot, because the young man had been reborn. In his previous life he had treated his fiancée with every possible care. The fiancée treated him only as a walking ATM. After draining every bit of value from him, she teamed up with the young man's friend to run him down with a car. Seeing him lying on the ground barely clinging to life, the two confessed their entire scheme. Not only did they tell the young man that they had been together for 10 years, the friend even proudly said the reason he had become wealthy so quickly was because the fiancé had seen notes left by the young man's parents, and knew that a treasure was buried in the young man's family's land. So when the village originally drew lots to divide the land, they used underhanded means to have the young man's family's plot allocated to them. Only then did the young man suddenly realize that he had loved the wrong person. However, it was all too late now. He closed his eyes filled with remorse and resentment. When he opened his eyes again, he had been reborn to the day the village drew lots to divide the land. Although the young man now understood the fiancé and friend's conspiracy, he didn't know how, in his previous life, the friend had managed to draw his family's plot. Just as the young man fell into confusion, he suddenly noticed several on-screen comments appear before him. They said that his family's plot had been pre-folded into a triangle by the fiancé. The young man realized he was the only one at the scene who could hear the voice. Just as he hesitated about whether to believe it, the villagers urged him to hurry and draw a lot. The young man tried to pick up the only triangular slip among them. To his surprise, it really was his family's plot. Seeing this, the friend and the fiancé were incredulous. They had originally planned to take the young man's family's plot and seize the treasure, but now their entire plan had failed. Before they could decide what to do, the village chief urged the friend to draw his lot. Seeing that the land hiding the treasure had been drawn by the young man, he had no choice but to randomly pick a slip from the box. Unexpectedly, he drew the village's largest and most fertile plot. The villagers said the friend was really lucky. They mocked that the young man had drawn the worst plot in the village. The friend suggested swapping the village's best plot for the worst one that the young man held. Seeing this, the villagers praised the friend as a good man. However, the young man stood up and refused. Hearing this, the fiancée immediately became furious. She urged the young man to agree, because in a short while she would be going to the city to attend college. If the young man had a good plot, he could have a good harvest at home. The young man claimed he had already formed an attachment to his family's plot, so he refused to swap. The fiancé threatened to break up with him. Having been reborn, the young man had long since seen the fiancé's true colors. If it had been before, upon hearing the fiancé mention breaking up, he would have hurriedly rushed to beg her for forgiveness. Now he agreed to the breakup without hesitation, and he demanded that the fiancé return the $200,000 betrothal gift. The fiancé was instantly thrown into a panic. She had long since spent the $200,000 betrothal money. Seeing the stalemate, the friend urged the two not to break up. The young man brushed off his friend's hand. He declared that if the fiancé did not promptly return the money to him, he would go to the city to report her. Then the fiancé would be expelled from school because of it. After saying this, the young man turned and left without hesitation.